When we look around our island, we see how people's actions affect the ʻāina. How can we work in harmony with the land? Aloha! I'm artist Maggie Sutrov. I bring my art supplies with me everywhere, and today I'm painting with Kipuka Olowalu and Nā Moku ʻAupuni o Koʻolau, two groups who bring people together to care for our ʻāina. And then we will create a work of art to express the beauty of these places. At Kipuka Olowalu in West Maui, a team of amazing people have brought back a garden in one of the island's driest places, just in the last couple years. In contrast, Nā Moku ʻAupuni o Koʻolau works in lush Kaʻanai and Wailuanui on their way to Hana to malama the farms, streams, and community that have been there for generations. In both these places, people come together to grow food, to feed the community, and share how to work in harmony with the land. First, we travel to Wailua with Jerome Kikivi Jr., where his family has grown kalo for centuries.
We are mostly all lineal descendants from this ʻāina. We can all trace our heritage back to the kingdom, before that.
As the rest of the island has changed with hotels and homes and highways and large-scale agriculture and more people, the kalo farmers of Kaʻanai and Wailua have fought to keep their traditions. And in order to grow kalo, they need water. The word for water is vai. Vai, lots of water, is wealth. The streams of East Maui fill with water from the rainforests, and from there, some comes down through the ʻAuwai, the canal, to irrigate the lo'i. The water travels from lo'i to lo'i, watering each in its turn, sharing the abundance.
And it all goes straight down to the same river and feeds and goes out to the ocean and feeds all the fish. Mm-hmm. And in this ditchways there's life, you know. O'opu, ihiwai, opai, you know. Before there was opai right here, you know. And that's rare. You usually just find that up in the mountains, you know.
But this water only runs because of the many court cases they have fought and won to return water to their streams. For a long time, most of the stream water has been diverted, taken through tunnels and ditches to grow sugarcane and other crops in central Maui. During the long fight, much of the community moved away since there was no water for their lo'i. Nonetheless, Nā Moku ʻAupuni o Koʻolau moves forward to care for this place and call people home to work in the lo'i and grow kalo. To protect their way of life, Nā Moku is rebuilding their ʻAuwai and working hard to care for the stream. Finally, these farmers are getting the water they need.
But it's not, I guess, it's not free, you know what I mean? Like, we get one kuleana that we gotta follow this river. And any obstruction in the river, grass, trees, rocks, we gotta make sure that we keep this river open. So we get a handful of us that from here, and we just follow miles all the way up to the head to our spring. And it's only one small group of us. So now hopefully that get more families coming in. You know, they get that kuleana too. Like, they cannot just expect the water for like just take the water, you know what I mean? Now if they gonna take the water, they gotta understand that they get on kuleana for go help the farmers, Nā Moku, go take care of the water, so the water keep coming to us.
Because of this hard work, Jerome has a plot full of beautiful kalo to harvest. And so I paint to express that.
My advice, if you ever, you're going to somebody's ʻAupuni or somebody else's ʻāina, you ask questions before you go touch the ʻāina, like you ask the kupunas or the kanakas that was living there for 30, 40, 50, 100 years, Go ask questions, better like that. Not just jump into them and think that you're on process.
After planting, the work's not done, Jerome cuts the huli from the corm. The huli, the top, will be replanted. It is the makua, the parent. And when it is planted, shoots will form, the oha, like ohana. Kalo is family. Sometimes asking questions is the first step to finding solutions. What questions would you ask Jerome and the kalo farmers of Ke'anai and Wailuanui?
Like our people is resilient because like we LL, bro. We gonna keep going. We hear these sounds, see the water moving freely, flowing freely. Yes, mahalo. Thank you. Super.
Next, I visit Kipuka Olowalu in West Maui. Here, they have grown a green gem in this dry part of Maui. Again, this wouldn't have been possible without water and community. From the rainforests deep in Mauna Kahalavai, the West Maui Mountains, flows a stream. And using the water wisely, Kipuka Olowalu is bringing back native species. After they first cleared this property, Hauhelevai grew up with its pink flowers, like it had been waiting for them all along. They also grow kalo and other plants important to Hawaiian culture. At Kipuka Olowalu, they have flooded lo'i, but also mala'ai, where the kalo isn't flooded, but watered just enough. They study the land and the traditions to decide on the most pono way to cultivate, using natural fertilizer and organic processes to create healthy plants and soil. Today, students are visiting to help with the work.
Today we have job street, okay? We're gonna have some people we're gonna be pulling up just this little mala here in the corner.
As they harvest, I paint.
Years ago, the village worked together. In Laulima, it wasn't that you needed something done, you didn't go buy them at the store, you would get it made or make it. The women would make the clothing, men would be out farming and fishing early, women would gather along the shoreline, gather seaweeds, and think those jobs everyone had to do. Wait a few weeks, and then we're gonna plant these malas. So every month or so for the rest of the next few months, we're gonna be planting it. So all of these are full. Next year, the harvest will happen. So you're setting up for the 6th graders next year. They can come up here, get all sweaty and muddy. So thank you for your help.
And then they process the kalo so that they can replant the huli.
The key is that the only way to do it is Laulima. You heard of Laulima? What's that? Who knows?
Many hands.
Killer, that's some good definition. So Lau, leaf, lima, hands, a tree of hands, just working together. And the village area was always called Laulima. All throughout, there's obviously a lot of the other plantations.
When lava flows, sometimes it goes around a bit of land, leaving a kind of island in the lava called a kipuka. Plants thrive there, and then once the lava is cooled, the seeds and plants and life from the kipuka spread out into the new land. Kipuka Olowalu is like that. and they spread their knowledge, their experience, and their harvest to enrich the larger community of Maui. Sometimes when I paint there are people working the ʻāina, but other times it is just me here. Still, I feel all the care that has been put into this place. I notice it with all my senses. I see it and I hear it and I feel it and I can smell it. And when I eat the food from this place, I taste it. What do you notice that shows how people malama this place? What do you want to learn from Kipuka Olowalu to help other parts of Maui? And so today you are going to create your own artwork inspired by Ke'anai, Wailua, and Kipuka Olowalu. In this work of art, you are going to get to plant, through drawing and painting, your own lo'i full of beautiful kalo. We're going to have a foreground, things that are up close, a middle ground, things that are a little bit farther away, and a background, what we see in the distance. And in our foreground, you get to plant, through drawing and painting, a beautiful lo'i full of kalo. In the middle ground, you get to decide what else is happening on this farm. Are there other lo'i? Is there something else going on? Are there people working in another lo'i? Is there a house? Are they growing other things? Is there an ally bringing the water from the stream to these lo'i here? You get to decide. And then, of course, in the background, the mountain, where the clouds rain the water down, where it collects into a stream. Maybe there's a waterfall. And so what happens up here affects all of this. Okay, so these are the supplies that you are going to need. You're going to want one watercolor paper. This piece of paper is 6 inches by 9 inches. You are going to get to use oil pastels. And if you don't have oil pastels, you can use crayons. Those work too. And we are also going to paint today. So some sort of watercolors. And since we're painting, you'll also need a paintbrush and some water and a paper towel. We'll need one more thing. We're going to need a pencil, but we are only going to use this pencil to write your name on the back of the artwork. Let's do that now. And I'll flip it back over. Did you write your name on your paper? In order for plants to grow and thrive, they need sunlight and they need fresh water, right? And so when we create our artwork today, we are going to think about both those things in the colors that we choose. We are going to use warm colors of the sunlight and of the red dirt. And we're going to use oil pastels to put in the warm colors first, and then we are going to add watercolor for our cool colors. And those warm colors and those cool colors together are going to create such a beautiful work of art. So we are starting with our oil pastels. So get your oil pastels out and notice what are the warm colors. And so I'm going to look for the reds, anything that's red, anything's orange, anything that is yellow, and so I've got red, orange, orangish yellow, yellow. You might not have this many. Doesn't matter how many you have. Just see what you have. And oh, look, there's another red. And this purple, it is a very warm purple compared to that. I might use a little bit of that, and I might want a little bit of white. So those are the colors that I'm going to use. Find the warm colors that you have in your oil pastels or crayons. There's one thing I want to share with you about oil pastels. You will want to have your paper towel handy for them because sometimes they get dirty and you need to wipe off little bits of other color on them. See that bit of red there? I will clean that up. And so look at the oil pastels you're going to use. Are they clean? And also, sometimes oil pastels don't look like this. They look more like this. If they've broken, it happens, and they are still great to use. If they don't have their wrapper on, still, just make sure you have a clean spot to use, especially those light colors like the white and the yellow. Use your paper towel, and they will be beautiful. Okay, and so we have our art supplies for the first step all ready. And we are going to think about what we're going to put in the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Yours doesn't have to look just like mine now. You get to design your own beautiful place for growing kalo and more. You might even decide to do your painting vertical. That is also okay. I'm going to do mine horizontal, and I am going to begin with the foreground. In the foreground, let's have that be where the kalo grow. And I know this leaf is green. Don't worry, we're going to have so much green in here, but we're going to begin with these colors. Try this out with me. It's going to be really neat. But before we begin drawing with the oil pastels, let's look at this kalo leaf. Let's notice the shape of it. Let's notice the lines. You can trace it with your finger and notice where is it round, where is it almost pointy, where does it come together, and what are the most important lines inside? Where are those veins? So I'm going to start with one right here, and it is kind of like a heart, but has some wiggles to it, and it goes almost to a point there, and it curves down. See, I'm going pretty slowly. Ooh, I like that. And I'm going to go up. I see some wiggles there, and then it's going to come into the center, and I see that there's the veins inside, and so I'm not coloring it in. I am just putting in the lines that I notice that I think are important. Now, with oil pastels or crayons, there's no erasing that we can do. There's no mistakes either. Every plant grows differently, every leaf grows a little bit differently, and so however yours turns out, go, okay, that's how that leaf grew, and then do another one. I'm going to do one with an orange now over here, and every leaf can be a different size, different angle. You get to decide. So I'm going to put this one in here, put in more of those lines. Again, doesn't have to look just the same, and I'm going to do another one, and you can have them overlap too. That shows how thick and ready for harvesting this lo'i is. Ooh, I love that. Oh, look at these beautiful colors. I know they're not the usual colors of growing things, but we will get there. And you can have little leaves. There's There's a beautiful lau there. Oops, I forgot the center line. That one came out a little funny, but we'll go with it. I'm going to do another red over here. This leaf, it's going to go right off the edges. Let's see, how about a yellow? Sometimes I have some that are shaped like this, and I haven't been putting in the stems, but that one has a stem going down, and maybe I'll do another one like that over here. If they're facing away like that, you can see the stem. So this one I'm going to do the heart shape and then have the stem coming down like that. This one, the stem would be coming right from where the two parts come together. It's hidden behind, and then it comes down like that. This one, I'm going to put it in two, like that. There we go. I need some more in here. What color next? How about some more orange? Actually, this color. Yes. So fill yours with beauty. Decide how you want to have it all growing. How ready for harvest are your kalo? Do you want more oranges in there? Do you want more yellows? What are the colors that call to you? How will you express this beautiful place? Oh, that one's really dark. I think I need a little bit more of that elsewhere. Little one there. Ooh, I'm going to do some more yellow too. See how I'm putting little hints of more in there to show that it's super thick. Ooh, I like that. I think that my foreground is done. How is yours coming along? Next, I get to think about all these beautiful places and what I want happening a little further away. My leaves became quite tall. Yours might not go up as high. They might be smaller at the bottom. I am going to have a middle ground now and a background. So the middle ground, everything is smaller. Like, see how that palm tree is? It's not smaller than a kalo leaf. No, but because it's farther away, it ends up being a lot smaller. One thing that you can do for your middle ground is there might be other things going on, but maybe there's some trees. But the trees are farther away, so maybe I can't tell what each tree is doing. Maybe instead I have a wiggly tree line. And so this wiggly line is going up and down, and it's all those trees coming together. And I have space on top for my mountains. And maybe I have an area where it comes all the way down. Maybe that spot is where the ally comes, bringing the water over here. Ooh, I like that. You get to decide what else is happening here. I'm going to show where the bottom of these trees is. I could put a couple trunks in there if you want, but there's lots of bushes and things, so I'm not putting in all the details, just letting it be like that. I've been using all red. I think I need some other colors in here now. Maybe there's some plants growing here. Maybe there's some papaya, or maybe it's a little palm tree. I'm going to put some more lo'i in here. And so these, you can see sort of the whole area there. And maybe this one was just planted, so it just has little bits in there. And it's further away, so you can't see all the details. Just like some of the lo'i in the painting behind me. My middle is happening in your painting? Are people growing other things? Do you have where they live? Do you have how the water is going to come from the mountains? It's all up to you. But oh yes, the mountains, where the water comes from. I want to put that in. And you know what? As things get farther away, they actually get less warm. They get more blue and faded out. Just look out, and if you can see a mountain from your window, notice what the colors are compared to the colors that are close up to you. And so I'm going to use my warm purple for my mountain. And perhaps it's a big valley. Perhaps it's more of a cliff. I can decide what shape is it going to be. I'm not just going to do a zigzag though. I'm going to make it look interesting. I have it come down, but I think I want it to be pretty high up because I want to have some ridge lines in it. And I'm going to put a waterfall that is far away. And so that's a little bit of white. You want to put a little bit of color next to it, you can. So that's what we can use the white for. If there's anywhere that should be glistening. And so I'm putting a little bit right there as well. And a little bit in those blue there. And also, oh, that's right. Well, how did the water get to this waterfall? Where did it come from before that? Higher up in the mountains? Well, what about before that? Where did the water come from? Let's put in the clouds, and that is perfect for your white. And if your white is dirty, use your paper towel to clean it off. And so I'm going to put some interesting clouds. Just like my trees were an interesting shape, I'm going to put those clouds up here. You can decide how many clouds, if it's going to fill the sky with clouds, or if it's just a couple, or maybe it's such a sunny day, today's not a day that there's any clouds, it's up to you. But it is fun putting these in with white, even though you can hardly see the oil pastel right now. When you paint, oh, that's gonna come alive. We started with the warm colors in this piece, and now we are going to fill this artwork with cool, beautiful water and cool, beautiful colors. And so our cool colors, green, blue, and purple, are going to feel like we have taken a dry valley and brought water to it and brought life to all the growing things. And so a way I'm going to use my brush is that I'm going to hold it by the metal part. I'm going to hold it like a pencil, and I'm going to make sure that it has a nice tip. And there we go. I gave my brush a hug, and I'm going to stop and think about where I'm going to start. I'm going to start down here in some of these kalo leaves, just like this. And I'm going to look at my colors, and I'm going to find that green, blue, and purple. And you know what? Yellow helps create beautiful greens as well. So I will use some yellow as well. And what stroke? I'm going to use just water first. I'm going to use the tip to fill in the leaf and then drop in the colors. And so these are controlled strokes, but you see how the water, it doesn't stick to the oil pastel. It's going to help keep my colors in the different sections. And do you see how I'm painting with just water first? Oh, this is going to be fun. You can try this too. Do water, and then I'm going to take some yellow. I know that's a warm color, but watch what's going to happen. And drop some yellow in. And now I'm going to wash my brush, dry my brush on my paper towel. There it is, nice and clean. And I'm going to take some green and drop it in with the yellow. I'm going to have some amazing yellow greens. Oh, I love it. It's flowing just as it is, and those warm colors are standing out too. I'm going to do that again. Over here, I'm going to put the water down, and then I'm going to drop in the yellow. So I've got some nice yellow in there. You want it to be really bright, add more yellow. If you want it to be less bright, put in less yellow, or put in a different cool color. I'm actually, instead of green in that one, I'm going to put blue in. Yellow and blue. They do make green. I think I need more blue though. I'm going to do more blue and more water, and oh wow. I'm going to do a little around the edges using just the tip. So much fun. Oh yes. This next one, I'm going to put the water in, and I think I'm going to put blue in first. Why not? I'm going to go blue, water plus blue, drop it in. I love it. Ooh, beautiful colors. And now I'm going to put in some green with the blue so that they can flow together. Maybe a little bit more around the edges. What do you think? Every leaf can be unique and one of a kind. This one here, maybe I'll put some more blue into that one, and maybe a drop of yellow. See how I cleaned my brush before I put it in the yellow? My yellow stayed nice and clean, and I have so much beautiful color on my brush. I'm gonna just put that green that's on my brush over here, but I think it needs a little bit of something. So there's some green to mix with that light yellow green. And now I have that color on my brush. I don't always have to clean my brush. Sometimes there's a color worth using, but I do want to keep mixing colors. What happens if I put a little purple in there? Oh, wow. A little bit of purple dropped in there. Put another drop of water. Sometimes I want colors to be really light, and so I will use a lot of water but less paint. Like right here, just a little bit of paint, and it's a very light blue. And I could even put in only a little bit of purple. Ooh, that was kind of a lot, but not too much. And I could do another one, or maybe behind it, where I put in a lot of blue. So I'm going to put a lot of blue behind it for where the water is and where maybe it's in shadow. And I'm going to put more purple in there too. So do you see how, oops, not right there, silly me. You can also, if you put colors where you don't want it, pick it up with your paper towel. There we go. This area here, I'm going to have be very dark with that blue and purple behind. Oh, I like that. And so you get to decide how each of these is going to look, where you want to use a lot of paint, where you want it to be very light. All up to you. But keep mixing colors, keep adding the beauty and the life. Ooh, I like how that one looks. I'm going to do another really light one. Oh, some of that color flowed right in. If I don't want it to flow in, I'll just stop it with my paper towel. Sometimes when it does that, it actually creates beautiful things. So maybe somewhere else I'll let it do that. But that one, I want it to look like that leaf up there where I had very light yellow and very light little bit of green. Just the tiniest bit. But it's the really dark blue purple that's making it stand out and be exciting. So I also want more of that in different spots. Put some of that over here. Maybe I'll put some green in that purple too. Ooh, I like that. Beautiful, yes. Ooh, that made sort of a gray. I like that, but I want more blue in there too. Not too gray. Oh, see what I was talking about? That green flowed right in. Ooh, I like that. It's starting to really come to life. Put green in that one. Those ones are all looking almost the same color though. So I'll put some blue in this one. That way each one is unique. A little bit more down there. There we go. Ooh, I think that leaf there does need a little bit of green in the purple. Oh wow, look at that little bit of green in there with the purple. That's my favorite one now, I think. I'll lighten that one too. Wow. Okay, well, I have my foreground done. How's yours coming along? Next, you get to decide what cool colors are going to be happening in the middle ground. I'm going to start with yellow again so that I can have some yellow greens because we want so many different greens in this. And so I think about where do I want the sunlight to be hitting. And I'm going to put some yellow down there. It's not going to just stay yellow because yellow is very warm. But I can put a little bit of that down. Maybe it's got some yellow on the grass. And then I'm going to put in other colors. Let's see, where do I want to have some green in there with the yellow? Yes, it's going to have some grassy areas. That's going to have some yellow and green. Some parts might need a little bit more yellow even. Some areas definitely need more blue. So we're going to have those beautiful, cool colors. Oh, look how that's flowing. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So again, you get to color yours however you're inspired to. Just try out using only cool colors right now. Use those green, blues, and purples and let them mix. And I am doing most of the mixing right on my paper, which is a lot of fun, letting the colors flow together, deciding, okay, I've got some purple there, but that's the water in the lo'i. It should have some blue too. And oh, that water's probably coming over here too. Need some dark areas right there. And I still have some white areas. I think I'm going to put some green in them. That green is really bright. Maybe I'll mix some other colors with it. There are so many greens in this world, not just the one green in this palette. Let's make those greens incredible. Let's put more yellow in some of those greens. Oh, yes. And then they're still cool colors, but they're brighter now. I'm going to put some more yellow again up in here. Yes. So much fun. Okay. I think it's just about there for the foreground and the middle ground. And now I'm going to do the mountain beyond. And I'm going to do the mountain beyond with less green because it's farther away. Of course, it's still covered in growing things, but it's not going to be as bright as the kalo. It's going to have more blue and purple in it, and maybe just a little bit of green. That way, it will look like it's farther away. And I'm adding water first, so things will be flowy, and some of those other colors flowed right in, but I kind of like how it looks. It's okay if it does that. Ooh, those are looking like already misty mountain colors. I love how that's coming together. I'm going to take my purple, and oh, that purple is so dark. I'm going to add some water to it. I've hardly mixed any colors on here, but I've mixed so many colors on here. I'm going to let that purple come on here. just a little bit. And I think it needs a little blue in there too. And I think it does need a little green, but not too much now. Take some green there, lighten it, and just drop it in. And look how it swirls on there. I can pick it up and let it flow that way. Ooh! Oh, wow! I think I do need a couple more light spots on those trees there. I'm gonna do that. Ooh, I like that. Yes. And then finally, I think I need to do the sky. And I'm gonna do the sky blue, but I'm gonna water it down again. And I do have those clouds on there too. Oh, look at the clouds. They're coming out. I can see them now. Yes. So I'm putting blue over the sky, and it might pick up a little bit of purple inside the clouds. If you want your clouds to be darker, or if you want your clouds to be white, pick up some of the color with a little corner of your paper towel, and look at that. Now they look like fluffy clouds. So, the last thing I do for any work of art is that I step back and I look at it from a distance. Sometimes I hold it like this, but this piece is very wet, so I don't want to do that too long. But I go, what do I like about it? What do I notice? And what else could it use? I think this part here, I want to lighten like that. Look at your whole piece and decide on 3 more little details you're going to add or change. What a beautiful place. Wouldn't you just love to spend a day there? Helping take care of the local, maybe take a dip in the stream, maybe create some art inspired by this place. A place like this needs everyone's help to take care of it. One thing I noticed is that my waterfall is kind of hiding back there. I have that oil pastel white, but if it has a shadow next to it, it's going to stand out even more. Since I put a shadow there, a couple more little shadows in my cliff, in my mountains. The shadows on the mountains are always shifting and changing, and I can use a little green in them too, but I'm still keeping it light. Oh, yes. Lovely. You're done with your artwork. Take a good look at it. What are your favorite details from your artwork? Find one detail that you especially like. And now, it's all right if you like your whole artwork, but find one little piece of the everything that you like. And if you're doing this artwork with other people, tell a neighbor about that little detail that you really like. And if this happened to be a challenging artwork for you to do, and sometimes that happens, that's all right, I bet you can still find one little detail that you like. Maybe one little stroke with the oil pastel, or one place where you mix an interesting color. Find that detail. Tell your neighbor and hear about what part of their artwork they like too. And then after you've listened to each other, Look at their artwork. Find a detail that you like in theirs. Remember, be specific. Tell them exactly what little piece that you like. Next, let's look at your artwork and think about color. We used color in some interesting ways today, didn't we? We used oil pastels to make our warm colors. And at first it was all warm colors. And then we added watercolor for our cool colors. Had you ever done anything like that before? Look at your artwork and think, what was something interesting or surprising that you noticed about color today? And tell your neighbor what it was. Finally, one last question. You created a beautiful landscape painting today with a foreground of beautiful kalo growing in the lo'i, a middle ground, and a background. And we use watercolor. This artwork wouldn't have been so beautiful without water, and this garden would not be growing so amazingly without without water, right? So look at your painting and answer this question. How does the water get from the clouds in your painting to your lo'i in the foreground? How does it travel there? And where are people helping, working together to make sure that this garden gets the water that it needs? And finally, we used a bunch of different art supplies today, and it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? We need to clean up for next time. So, take a look at your oil pastels. If they are dirty, wipe them with a napkin and put them back in their box or wherever they came from. Make sure they are as neat as can be, as clean as can be, so that they're good for the next group or the next time. Put it in its box. And I'm gonna look at my watercolors, and I'm going to clean up the paint. I can wet it with my brush if I need to, and then I can wipe it with a paper towel, and that's gonna pick it all up. If one of my colors is dirty, I can wipe that with the paper towel, and like that, get all of the color out so that it's all clean for next time. I'm going to take my brush, swirl it in my water, wipe it on my napkin, give it a hug so it has a nice point, and with that, put everything away where it goes, and you're all cleaned up, so you have art supplies all ready for making more art in the future. You created a beautiful work of art today. Be sure to share that artwork with other people, your friends, your family. Tell them about these beautiful places, because your art will inspire people. And when you inspire people, well then, they want to make the world more beautiful too, whether that is caring for our ʻāina or making more art. Both make our island a more beautiful place. And so, keep inspiring people, keep taking care of our ʻāina, and I look forward to making more art with you next time. Ahui ho!